Hey, good morning, guys. It is January 5th in 2024. Happy New Year's to you guys that haven't seen me in a while. I'm out here in the shop right now. I'm going to do this is deck boards from an old 53 Ford that's being modified and restored right now. So we're going to do the deck boards for that out of some proven walnut. Going to be cutting those out here in a little bit. Probably shoot a little video of that, but I wanted to talk about something else real quick. I spend a little bit of time on the internet, like most of you guys do, looking at other woodworkers, channels and TikTok and all that stuff, and seems to be a common theme out there. There's some people out there like Tamar 3x3 Custom. She's got a great channel. Love watching her stuff. Another guy named Keith, and he does some videos. He just did one recently where he was showing a pretty intricate build. But he was saying you don't need all of these fancy tools to do that. And I see a lot of comments on these channels and these different people. Oh, it must be nice. Yeah, you got $250,000 worth of tools and machinery, and you're trying to say anyone can do that. Well, I'm here to explain to you, yeah, you actually can. All the people that are shooting these videos, like Tamara especially, her channel, she started her channel when she just had basics. And she's upgraded over the years. And she's got a great channel, great content, and her shop is pretty amazing. And she shows when she upgrades stuff. It's all on her channel. Go check it out. It's 3x3 Customs. But what I wanted to say is, we've all started about the same way, right? Nobody starts out with $250,000 worth of machines in a shop. At least I sure didn't, and I know a lot of my friends didn't either. But what I started out with was like a 12x12 patio and a $50 skilled table saw that I got off of Craigslist. I also bought a bunch of other stuff off of Craigslist, like a 10-inch Craftsman bandsaw and a Craftsman router that didn't even really have a base plate on it. So I started out with basically some basic stuff, that maybe $200 worth of tools, and was able to make some good stuff with that. That little table saw wasn't real high quality. It didn't have a lot of power or rip capacity, but we were still able to do some great builds. Some of the builds we did with that stuff are on our pictures of that are on our website still today. But the point is, back in the old days, before we had all of this technology, those guys were putting out things that were higher end than anything I could actually do now with all this crap in here. With no electricity, they did it all by hand. So you could learn how to do things with hand tools and do great work and sell a few pieces probably and build up. Most people don't have the patience for that nowadays. They want a machine to do everything. I do a little bit of both. But we started out with a 12x12 patio and a sheet of plywood on some sawhorses, and then from there we built a plywood and 2x6 and 4x4 woodworking bench. I actually have another one just like it out here. I didn't get to bring it with me when I left California back in 2014 and came here to Texas, but I made another one when I first got here because they're cheap and easy to make, and they're sturdy, and I did a lot of work with that one until I upgraded to the bench I have now, just because the vices on it I liked a lot better. And I'm going to give you a little shop tour around here and show all this stuff, but I wanted to talk about this real quick. All these people making these comments, most of them are just trolls, obviously, that have never tried to build anything. And then there's the other folks out there that are like, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I could get those things. I wish I could do what you do. And I just wanted to take a minute to explain that. You absolutely can. Like I said, everybody starts with the basics and then start building up. And then after you're around for a little while, word starts to get out and people start to pay attention, you start getting orders. Right now, as example, we've upgraded everything in this shop except for a couple pieces that are still here. And I have so many people wanting stuff built that I'm booked up for the rest of the winter. And with all the stuff I have in here, it's all basically to increase production and make it a little faster to get things done. But I was doing it with basic hand tools and some really shitty power tools when I started out, just like everybody else does. Most of the people you're seeing on YouTube with these fancy shops and all this nice stuff, they did not start that way. You know, and a lot of these other creators out there, they have film crews and everything else now. A lot of them aren't even actually doing as much actual woodworking as they are doing video productions. But that's all, we all started the same way. So don't be discouraged when you see somebody building something nice and you see a bunch of Festool tools and, you know, fancy machines and all that. They all started out where you're at right now. And they're hoping to inspire you to do some of the same things. So I thought I would just come out here and talk about that for a minute before I'll show you around the shop, explain a couple things, and you know, hopefully explain how you can actually do this yourself too. I started out, I took my first woodworking class in 1978. I was in junior high, and we had shop classes in the middle school, so that's where I had my first class, and then I didn't touch it again until about 20 years ago. Needed some furniture, so figured out we better learn to do this because we can't afford to buy it. With the money we would spend on one king-size bed, we could buy almost a whole shop full of crap. So that's how we started out. And in fact, I've got this shop here now that I've had for about the last 7 years. It's a detached, it's 20 by 30, it's insulated, it's got climate control, all these tools. Small shop, easy to get around in. But what I have in here, we build some pretty big stuff. I just finished doing a king-size bed not too long ago. We have the capacity to do everything they're doing in big production shops. We just don't get it done as quick. But there's no reason that you guys that want to build your own furniture can't do it. I mean, if you don't believe that, look at Marketplace, and you'll see Marketplace is full of guys with nothing but a couple of Voiby tools and very little knowledge out there trying to be professionals and making stuff. And then, you know, people are buying it obviously because it's cheap, but they'll get better as they go along. That's how you start out. You sell a few pieces, you upgrade a couple of tools. Next thing you know, you evolved into a full-on woodworking business. So, show you around the shop a little bit right now, and you know, let you take a look at where we are now. And I'll try to include a few pictures of the old shop. We went from a 12 by 12 patio, built a bench out of plywood, 4x4s, ended up moving into a 19 by 19 detached garage, and there was no 220 or anything in there. And then we moved out here to Texas, and because of the way things worked out then, we were able to build this building on our property here. And we got 220, like I said, it's climate controlled, it's insulated. It stays 70 degrees out here year round, even when it's 110 outside with 90% humidity or 14 degrees out here. It's still warm and comfortable inside. As a matter of fact, it's about 40 degrees outside today. So, got the mini split up there running, and it's a nice place to be. So, we've upgraded. We kept a lot of the same concepts for the small shop, like the bench top tools are all mounted on top of little cabinets that can roll around, and they have storage and everything. And all my hand plates and stuff I collected off of eBay over the years. I think the most expensive plane I have up there cost me $100, and I have almost a full set of Bailey planes. Most of them are from the early 30s, and well, I have a couple from World War II, but early 30s and earlier. Got one up there from 1868. It still works just like it did the day it was made. So, guys, don't get discouraged when you see these guys doing stuff on YouTube and on TikTok and all that with all these fancy tools and machines. Don't let it fool you. You can still do it. It takes a little longer, and you need to develop some skills to get there. But that's part of the fun. It's part of the journey, actually. So that's how it goes, you guys. Don't listen to these trolls out here talking about these tools in this shop, and that's all bullshit. Okay, if you have the will to do it, you can do it. I taught myself by read just about every issue of Fine Woodworking and watched all their online content. And Wood Magazine had a bunch of content. Didn't really get into anything on YouTube until about 4 years ago. And the thing that I'll tell you about YouTube is be careful who you listen to and watch on YouTube, because there's no filter about what you can put out there. And I see a lot of stuff out there where, you know, admirable, I guess, because somebody's actually trying to do something, but they need to get a little bit more knowledge about what they're doing before they start trying to teach somebody else, because a lot of them have no idea of the pitfalls that they're getting into with the way they're doing things, put it like that. So, show you around the shop a little bit, let you see what we do here. And just keep in mind, if you stay at it long enough, this is where you end up. You end up with a nice little shop, a place you can spend your time and make a little side money too. All right, guys, let's start off here. This is my backyard in Texas. Got about an acre of land out here, and then we built the shop here. Do a lot of work out here on this patio, this covered patio. In the front, it's 20 by 20. This is actually bigger than the first building we had our stuff in. But this little table right here was actually going to go in the trash. It was a play prop for a church, and I stole that and put some wheels on it and used it for a little cart. This is a little turntable. It's just got a piece of plywood with a little Lazy Susan on the bottom there. So we finish things like a lot of the rocking horses that we do, stuff like that. And then this is just a material left over from a big order we just did. So normally this isn't sitting here. And then there's my first rocking chair I ever built. That's just a prototype, and I kept it around because it's stayed together. So spent a little time out here with that. Here's the view. It's usually nicer in the springtime, but it's a pretty nice place where we're at here in Texas. So this is the plywood bench I was talking about. It's 4 sheets of plywood together, but you don't have to make it that thick. But I wanted some weight with this one, but I just glued the plywood together, trimmed it all up, and then framed it up with these 2x6s, and the base is 2x6 and 4x4s. And then that's a $150 vise from Rockler, and that thing has done a lot of work in the last few years until 2021, and we upgraded that again. And then here's just where we throw all our scraps that are too nice to throw away. We're going to start making a bunch of cutting boards and stuff to get rid of some of that. Those barrels are all mounted on casters as well. So as we come inside the shop, right here by the door is my 15-inch planer. Got an 8-inch joiner right there. And then as I turn over this way, here's the big dust collector we just added a few years ago. That's a Oneida Dust Gorilla Pro, 5 horsepower. Got that all plumbed in. And then right here we have the 18-inch Laguna bandsaw. That's been a pleasure to have in here for some of the stuff that we're building. And then right here, these tables you see in front of the table saw. The tops of those are just solid core doors from Home Depot. They cost like 80 bucks each, and then throw a frame under them, and then cover them with some hardboard and put some wax on those. Do a lot of gluing up and everything right here on this one where that truck deck board is laying there. And then you can see my table saw. We upgraded from the skill saw that I had talked about to we had a Bosch 4100, which was really nice compared to what we were using, but when we built the shop here, we added this one. And this is a 52-inch, it's a 3 horsepower cabinet saw. Dust collection on that is amazing when you hook it to an adequate machine. So that was a big upgrade for everything that we were doing. And then just recently we upgraded our little skill bandsaw that we had for many years to this 18-inch because some of the furniture we build, it just makes it a lot easier. And then with all the hand tools and stuff that we do, we upgraded our sharpening system there, and inside that cabinet they have just about every kind of jig for any tool that you would want to sharpen, like your lathe chisels and things like that. The gouges and stuff like that with the curves, it makes it a lot easier. And then I just got my little sled down there, and you can see up here on the walls, all over the walls in here, that's the Omni wall system, and we just literally added that last year. And man, what an upgrade that is. And then this got this in-feed table. That's an easy feed in table. And that thing, it's a little bit pricey, but it literally goes on and off of that saw in a couple of seconds, and it folds right up flat, and it literally stores right behind that cabinet there. So it's not even in the way when we don't need that. And then over here, see that shelf up there, we have about 3 or 4 different sanders up there. Have a 1400 router, TS75 track saw, and then the domino and the whole set of all the dominoes and the sustainers up there. And that's a little bit expensive. Those tools are pricey, but as I was saying before, you start getting orders for things. Just about every single thing on that shelf and the tracks and everything like that, we just did one order that could have paid for 2 sets of those. So it's all relative, right? If you're making the money and you need the time, then you upgrade your tools to increase your production. By no means do you need any of that stuff to do the kind of furniture that we build, right? And you see that all the hand tools over here. This OmniWall system's amazing. I love this. Got my angle finders and all that up there for my hand tools, all my chisels down here. And then these are the carts that I was talking about. And that scroll saw right there is from the 80s. That's one of the Craigslist buys that we bought early on. Got that for $100. Still works great. Got these other benchtop tools. These cabinets are all mounted on wheels. They roll out. And then we got, to speed up joinery and building chairs and things like that, this panel router's been amazing. Again, it's pretty expensive and you don't need anything like that to build a nice rocking chair, but it just makes it a lot faster. So if you're on time, production means a lot. So, time's money. So having that in here has been a lifesaver. And then you see all these clamps and everything up here on these racks. Again, you don't have to have all the parallel clamps and all that. I know that's pretty pricey, but it makes it a lot easier to do the work and get it done quicker. So that's how we justify that. Then we just have all our little fasteners and everything over here, and these are the hem planes. This is the hem plane cabinet. None of those planes, nothing in there costs more than $100. And these are all very comparable to the modern planes. The modern planes, the Veritas and Lee Valleys and all those guys, they're all based on these. These are the original Leonard Bailey planes from early in the century. And all the block planes and everything up there, and then I have a few of the older planes that we don't really use, but they're just nice to have around, I guess. You see the rest of the hand tools here. Those Buck Brothers chisels, this is the chisel set I started with. And I can tell you right now, you can cut mortises, trim things, do everything you want to do with those, and I think those were like $30 at Home Depot. So again, you don't need all the most expensive tools to do the stuff that you want to do. Starting out with things like that right there is what leads to all the rest of the stuff you see in this shop. Then you got all my measuring and layout tools there. The Starrett stuff, a lot of that came off of Craigslist too and eBay. And then I've upgraded a couple of the smaller ones there and the blades and all that. But you can find those on eBay for a very reasonable price. Okay, and this is, like I said, this is a pretty small shop. So I have the miter saw. That's a 12-inch DeWalt miter saw. I got that. It was pretty new when I got it years ago. I got it on Craigslist. Somebody was having to sell his tools off, so I got that saw almost brand new with the laser and everything on it for $500. And then that stand, they don't make these stands anymore, but you can get something similar that's nicer quality today. But so this saw, I don't worry about the miter saw station, dust collection and all that, because it just rolls right out there on that patio when we need to cut stuff. We start out there, cut it to length, we roll it in here, and then from there, in this area right here, this is about half the shop right here by the door. And anything that we need, we just roll out here, and you see all the electrical outlets, we have plenty. That yellow one, that's a 220 right there. So we can plug in all these bigger machines here to do all of our milling to get everything down. And then it goes from there to the table saw to square the other edge up. And then of course this bandsaw we already looked at, but everything in here is mobile. So if I need to roll that out here and use it because I'm doing some long stuff with it, all the dust collection can connect right here with this hose. And there's another one back there by the table saw for anything that we might be doing back here by the bench where we need it. So all in all, this little shop is very well equipped. And if you see right up there above the back door, it's climate controlled, which, by the way, having that climate control in here, we used to keep the doors open and use a big fan and stuff. So dust wasn't a big deal, but once we added that climate control up there, dust collection became a big issue. And the little Harbor Freight unit that we were using, we had upgraded the impeller and filter system and all that, but it just doesn't pull enough for these bigger machines in here. So we upgraded that, and now the air quality in here stays almost perfect all the time. And then we have, we've got an air monitor up there. So we keep track of it. Music, I got a DVD player there. That's my wife. And then all the finishing and glue stuff is right here, and then those 2 cabinets in the back, and then above the front door, I have a 50-inch TV for when I'm doing stuff or I just want to not be in the house because there's a bunch of girls that live in there. So sometimes it's nice to just be out here. But that's the shop, and then those cabinets back there, these are all the manufacturers that send me stuff. Usually send me some stickers and things like that. Those are the guys that did all the tattoos you see on my arms. And we keep all this other supplies and stuff in there. Some of the other stuff that we've done. So then that's it. That's the shop. There's all the supplies up there. See all the router stuff up there. Now, this router, see that router right there? That's in a nice lift. That's a 3 horsepower router. And the router table is actually, try not to shake this too much to give you guys vertigo. The router table is right there. You see how it just leans against the wall right there? That's a nice sheet of phenolic plywood to cut out, and then we just we framed it up in some walnut that we had left over from another job we were doing. And then you see we got the lumber rack right here, which is really full. This cart has vertical storage on the back, and that's absolutely full right now. But you can kind of get a look in there and see what that looks like. It's full of all the, we have so many cutoffs and stuff in here, we're running out of room for it actually. But so that router table comes right out here, and we throw it on top of those metal sawhorses right there, and then that actually has a magnetic switch that is stuck back here to the Omni wall, which is another thing I really like about it. You can just, everything's magnet, so you can just stick everything to it. But we have the switch there, that goes on the sawhorses, plugs into the router keys and all that stuff sit right there. And so that's how we do all of our big routing stuff, and it doesn't take up any space, and it's very easy to make. So then we have, you just look around, that's a metric and decimal conversion chart, makes it simple, and that's all the stuff for the dado stack, the different things I need for that, and everything for my saw is just an easy reach right there next to the table saw. And then for this workbench here, we've upgraded that from the plywood one that's outside, and I bought this one, 2 reasons. One, the vices on this thing are amazing. It's got good storage, and for the price of it, man, I could have built one similar to this, but it would have been very similar in price as well, and it would have taken weeks to do. So, for a couple $1,000s, I just ordered that one, and they shipped it over here. And you can see it fits very well in that space back there by the cabinets. It's not in the way. And if it is, as you can see, it's mounted on some bench casters, so I can roll that around too. Every single thing in this shop, including those black cabinets there, and this filing cabinet and all that, it's all on wheels. So when I need to, I can move things around and roll stuff around in here. It's very convenient, and like I said, we build some big pieces in here, but it's just usually just a nice pleasure just to be in here. A little dirty right now because we've been busy, but that's our little shop in Texas right there. This is where we build all the stuff. You guys have a great day.